Hello, welcome back to the Kayfabe Brigade. This week is an all AEW week. We'll be talking about Full Gear and Dynamite.
Yeah, we'll also have a little bit on the game. They did announce they had a little bit of a conference on the game, so we'll just talk about generally what's going on with AEW the past couple weeks, how they're kicking off in November. But starting with the pay-per-view Full Gear, we start with Serena Deb defending her NWA World Women's title against Allison Kay. In the only pre-show match, something that they've done recently that's been a change for the pre-shows is that it's more focused towards selling the pay-per-view and less focused towards like putting the people who just aren't going to be on it and like putting like the comedy matches on there.
Yeah.
This was like a better representation of like what you're going to see if you watch the pre-show and then choose to buy the pay-per-view.
Right, they kind of played like the Road to...
Yeah.
Like the Road to documentary thing that they did, and then they did the match. And yeah, it was. I liked it. I liked it was lean and mean.
Anybody who hadn't been familiar with the build-up in just that hour could pretty much be caught up with what's going on.
Yeah, they did a really good job of selling the pay-per-view for sure. Match was okay.
Yeah, it was. I liked the match.
It wasn't bad or anything.
Serena Deeb's a good pickup. She's a good, solid technical wrestler. It was, it would have been like a standard TV match if it was on Dynamite.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Her work is strong. Allison Kay actually had just recently lost the NWA title. I think in the most recent NWA pay-per-view against Thunder Rosa, and then Serena Deeb took it from Thunder Rosa. Allison Kay is no longer with NWA, but it is kind of interesting that they chose her to go after it again.
Yeah.
I think it was a good match. She would be a good pickup if they ended up with her, but that's pretty much it. It was just a decent match.
I like this crossover. It's helped a much languishing AEW women's division. It's gotten much better, honestly, in the last several months. So.
It's nice to see the relationship
not
sustained.
Just because of this. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they're continuing this.
Yeah, correct.
Because after the match,
it wasn't a one-shot deal, and they were
No.
just trying to like pop a rating or something. It's a thing that they're doing.
And I think it
Who
benefits,
knows how long?
It probably benefits NWA a great deal.
Sure. Yeah, I have no idea how that new show is doing, but I haven't heard a whole lot.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's doing
at
much.
least this probably honestly is giving more of a boost than
much
their
more
own show.
much more visibility.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And then to continue the partnership, Thunder Rosa comes out and challenges Serena Deeb for a rematch for their title. This ends up getting booked for not the Dynamite we watched, but the next Dynamite. So that'll be interesting. I think they're both solid workers.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we move on to the main card with probably one of the better curtain jerkers for any wrestling pay-per-view I could even imagine. Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page in the world title eliminator.
I was kind of blown away that it was the opener, but
in
retrospect, it was a smart thing to do.
Yeah, it makes sense. This is kind of
a barn burner of an
it
opener.
is.
Yeah, there's a lot of
exactly
story leading to the match. Not a lot of story in the match. It was just a straight up match.
Yeah. Don Callis is on commentary for this. He is an EVP of Impact, which they actually bill him as.
Right.
But he's mainly there because he's called. He's one of Kenny Omega's friends. He's called numerous Kenny matches in New Japan, including the classic Kenny Okada 4. The 2 out of 3 falls legendary 75-minute match.
Yeah.
So he was on call for that. I love Don Callis as a commentator.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see him just come in for maybe once a pay-per-view.
Sure.
Just to do something like that. Maybe he could be the commentator. I like to see him continue that. If Kenny Omega's... Because Kenny Omega's going down this path. Just call Kenny's matches, yeah. He's going down this path where he's sort of not resting on his laurels, but propping himself up over his reputation. Because, he's coming out and they're lauding him with all his accolades.
Right.
So it would make sense for him to have his own personal commentator. It would be kind of cool.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense for the character. Match was great. Hangman sort of a little bit prior, they had done some promos prior, and he was kind of just drinking, talking to Jim Ross, talking about how, I was his tag partner, so I know how to do everything. But he just kind of lackadaisically. Yeah. And that's kind of how it felt like he was doing. He felt like he was a step behind the whole match. Like he just wasn't prepared for Kenny or something. Yeah. Kenny was kind of cocky, but it wasn't like an outright heel in the match or anything like that. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a babyface match, but Hangman just seemed like he would go for. I don't know. I mean, it was a story. It wasn't like. I'm not talking about the guy himself. I'm talking about the character. Yeah. It just seemed like he was a little bit of a step behind.
It felt like Hangman was compensating from his, I guess, lack of speed. Kenny has the speed advantage on him with intensity because Hangman was throwing some shots out there.
Yeah. And they bring that, and they mention that intensity when he does his dive, when Kenny does his dive. They play it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Talking about how fast and punchy, how Hangman wasn't ready for it, and it took him by surprise. Nobody does that dive like Kenny. Basically,
the whole match, Kenny has the almost over years, especially in this match, Buckshot Lariat is scouted every time.
Yeah. He'll duck under, or
which makes sense because they were tag partners.
Sure.
And he knows how to help him set.
He knew how to do that too. Like Hangman was saying that about himself. Like but he also can do that.
Yeah, exactly.
He has the same advantage. So that wasn't really an advantage. Well, it ended up being more of an advantage for Kenny. He was better prepared.
Great character moment from Kenny. He gets Hangman up in the "you can't escape" where he does the forward roll and then jumps back up to do the moonsault.
Yeah.
And he slips up.
Oh yeah.
On the first impact.
Right.
But he sort of like
when he was trying to stand, his foot slipped and he kind of just fell down.
He sort of pretends pretends it's an ankle tweak.
Right.
So, and then he sort of just like gets pissed at himself.
Yeah.
Clearly just playing into it instead of just like getting up and acting like nothing happened.
Right. Very well done.
Yeah.
I appreciate when a wrestler does something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's very smart.
It makes sense for his character, who's on the verge of approaching the desire for perfection.
Right.
To like get mad at himself for making a slip up like that.
Yeah. And then it was the opportunity for the commentators to then like react to what he did rather than for them trying to cover for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh well, I guess he fell. You know, they didn't do that crap. They just they got to respond to something smart that the wrestler did.
There was, Hangman's trying to go for his dead eye, which is that sort of where he puts him behind him and just drops him down like a reverse pile driver, I guess. And Hangman only gets one leg.
Yeah.
Kenny's other leg is like flailing out there, and because of that, he can use the momentum to kick out of it. I thought that was great. There were a ton of moments where like Hangman could have got Kenny caught,
right?
If he was just had a little bit more force.
Put a little more thought into it. Yeah.
Hangman. That
forgot to hook the second leg in the pin attempt. Like just kept doing little things like that, where it's like just not quite good enough. Almost there.
It just adds to Hangman's sort of being out of step the whole match and not quite getting as much into it as Kenny was. Obviously, Kenny was prepared. And they actually played this into a storyline beforehand, playing Kenny's over-preparedness, because first Kenny had to wrestle Sonny Kiss instead of Joey Janela, and then Phoenix won the match with Penta, but then he was injured, so they had to replace it with Penta. And I remember Kenny being like, "Oh, I both my opponents I was unprepared for."
Right.
And he was sort of like saying he has the upper hand. The fact that he managed to surpass that and get past that, so it makes sense that he would have over-prepared for the one match that he knows that he's going into.
Yeah.
The finish goes towards Hangman on the outside, and he sets up because earlier in the match he goes for a buckshot and Kenny catches him with a V-trigger.
Yeah.
Kenny back to using V-triggers vigorously, like all the time. Hangman tries to anticipate a V-trigger this time and take advantage of the buckshot attempt, but Kenny calls it, ducks it, which is a callback to their tag debacle when they would hit each other with their own moves on accident, which ended up leading to a breakup. He hits 2 V-triggers, hits the One-Winged Angel. One of my favorite One-Winged Angel finishes, because Hangman doesn't just give up. You actually think he might continue the match because he's up there struggling and trying to push himself off.
Flailing against.
But Kenny hits it, and Kenny wins.
1, 2, 3. Great match.
Next match is Orange Cassidy versus John Silver. Orange Cassidy defeats John Silver here. This was really just like Orange Cassidy needs to get a win.
Yeah, he needed to get a win, and everyone loves John Silver, so he was kind of like, I don't know. It was kind of like 2 baby faces. I don't know.
Everyone just loves John Silver.
Yeah.
He's a heel, but everyone just
He is a heel because he's in the Dark Order.
Yeah.
But everyone loves him.
He's gotten over on being the elite, and that's translated to him being utilized. I remember there was a direct quote of Tony Khan saying that's why he's pushing John Silver.
Right.
Because everyone loves him on being the elite.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, it was. I liked the match.
Yeah, it was fun.
There was some comedy stuff in the beginning. Maybe the best thing, because I'm always looking for iterations in Orange Cassidy matches, like how he iterates, is John Silver literally rips his pockets off.
Yeah.
So that was great, and then there was sort of just like a standard, like not a standard match, but it just the shenanigans, the Orange Cassidy shenanigans kind of stuff there. I like this match a lot. It was a nice breather.
Yeah, absolutely. You need stuff like this on the card.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
With a, proper outcome.
Yeah. No, I definitely didn't
Orange
think John Silver should be winning this match.
Right, no. And Orange Cassidy's losses made sense, but they knew that they needed to, not rehab him, because it didn't hurt him.
No.
It didn't really hurt him losing. But
you gotta keep him hot.
You gotta keep him hot. And everyone loves him. And he's great when he's on fire.
And John Silver doesn't lose anything from getting to be on the pay-per-view.
No. That helped him a lot.
Yeah.
Losing against Orange Cassidy is great for him.
So up next we have Darby Allin versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT title.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes using his last name finally.
Yeah.
Able to use it.
At long last.
He dropped his advances on trying to get WCW pay-per-view titles back. So, he can have it. So, because of that...
Good trade for him.
Yeah, it was a good trade. I think it'll benefit him in the long run. Needing to call a pay-per-view Halloween Havoc is not that big of a deal.
No.
You want to stand on your own. You don't need to be reusing all these things.
No.
Bash at the Beach was enough.
WWE has proven that using those names doesn't do anything for the pay-per-view anyway. Like,
not
it's just,
necessarily.
They're not even necessarily paying homage when they do it. They're just kind of using the name.
Yeah, because they've used Great American Bash.
Yeah, let them have it.
And then they used Halloween Havoc.
Right,
It's it's fine.
It's alright, whatever.
Yeah. Darby had, a lot of stuff to overcome to become the babyface of this match.
Yeah.
Because Cody's got that... Cody's a fiery babyface almost always.
Yeah, he's got a huge entourage.
He's
He's walking out with a bunch of other baby faces.
Yeah.
Well, Brandy's a babyface now, but yeah. And Dustin and Arn and who else is out?
I think QT came out.
Yeah.
Maybe Scorpio Sky.
Yeah, and Darby's on the outside. He gets out of the ring and stands by himself and just kind of with his head down.
He's all alone.
By himself.
Yeah.
They start starting the story, the hero making right from the beginning.
Yeah.
This is a great match.
And this is the fourth time they faced off, and they managed to make it feel special.
Yeah, wow, and that was crazy when they said that. I was like, wow, they've really had 3 matches prior. That's crazy.
So Cody has always been the guy to prop up the idea that there's not necessarily have to be heels and baby faces. There can be a gray area in between. He's always, and people have railed against him for that sort of, I guess, like post wrestling sort of take.
Right, making it fluid.
Yeah, but I actually think
rather than hardcore lines in the sand.
But it works, and he knows how to make that work. There was a moment where Cody rolls out of the ring, and the crowd instantly booed, and that's when I knew that they had him.
Yeah, it worked.
He got it.
It was well done, and that's why, people just throw the label at him that whatever he's trying to change things or something with that kind of mindset. They don't just understand how much more versatility that gives you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to if you have the ability. So he could just be like, okay, well, I'm Cody Rhodes, but I'm just going to be kind of like a cocky ass because I'm just tired of this kid.
Yeah.
I've wrestled him 4 times. Yeah, you could be the face of the. You're not going to be.
Yeah.
So
he wasn't being dismissive, which a heel would do.
Yeah, he didn't dismiss him. He's just like, it's not happening.
Yeah, it's not because I'm the guy.
You could do it if you're maybe against some of them other guys.
Yeah.
But you're up against Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
So.
He's doing
and
cartwheels.
that's how I played the whole match.
Yeah. He does
all the cartwheel.
He has push-ups.
His ridiculous push-ups.
Yeah, you go off on that.
I always rail against Cody's push-ups because his chest doesn't touch the freaking ground. But it doesn't matter.
Which is funny because of how he uses it.
But he's doing it so cockily. I'm like,
yeah,
you're doing wimpy push-ups, whatever.
Yeah. As is tradition for underdog babyface match, a majority of this match was Darby's arm getting worked over by Cody relentlessly, and very well done. Lots of good work. I mean, he did everything. He did an avalanche shoulder breaker, everything to take Darby's left arm out. But the moment he steps away from that game plan, Darby's able to take back control. Because that's what Darby does. He looks for holes and blind spots in the opponent's game, and that's how he can't rely on the power. Another thing I loved was Darby goes to the floor. And Arn Anderson starts yelling at him.
Yeah.
Which was great. And the outcome of the ending of the match kind of played into that. The way Cody reacts to the end of this match and the way Arn reacts to the end of this match are very different.
Yeah.
Basically, it just comes down to, which is the best way to use Darby, his resilience. His resilience is getting to Cody. Cody stops going for things that work and just want to end it with power games. Yeah. And that is going to open him up.
Yeah, because he's being sloppy.
The finish ends up coming in a roll-up sequence, which was quite surprising, but got the biggest pop of the night out.
I love it because it's never the finish when it happens anymore.
No.
Just a bunch of roll-ups, and some of them are kicking out, and then they're going to break, and then they're going to go back to wrestling.
Yeah.
And it actually, was it? He rolled him up, then Cody, or was it 4?
There was
Cody,
4.
then him, then Cody back, and then he did it a fourth time,
Yeah.
and for the pin.
Yeah.
And Cody kind of fell out of it, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and that was
Like,
it.
what? I lost?
Yeah. So
Great finish.
Darby is your new TNT champion.
Which I do not hate at all.
No, I think you gotta give it to him sometime. They've done enough, it's been a year. Darby's lost most of his matches.
Yeah.
He gets to have a big win and get more matches, get more reps. I think Darby has been one of those guys who's greatly benefited from being on national television.
Yes.
He's improved leaps and bounds.
Oh man, he's gotten so good. And it's only been a year,
Yeah. So quick word on what happens after. Cody teases like he's going to be, snotty about it.
Right.
But he ends up giving him the belt. Arn, meanwhile, is on the outside pissing up a storm.
Yeah, not happy at all.
Something's going to happen with that.
Arn had his fucking card out there and his game plan, and Cody strayed from it, and something's going to happen.
Yeah. The biggest indication of what the direction for Darby's, title reign is going to consist of is when Team Taz comes out and they attack him.
Yeah.
Brian Cage and Ricky Starks attack Darby, but then Cody comes out and saves him. So that's a good indication of what we have for the beginning of Darby's title reign. He's going to go up against Team Taz, which has been his sort of thorn on his side for the whole time.
Oh yeah, they've been antagonizing him through all of this stuff. Like,
so
no matter what's been going on with Cody or with anyone else, they've been there antagonizing him.
So there'll be
months.
There'll be good matches, and it'll be satisfying to see Darby win over them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm all for that.
Fully expect that.
Next match is Takarashida defeating Rhodes to retain the AEW Women's World Title. I don't really have much to say about this.
It's okay.
I thought their previous match was better.
100% agree.
Yeah. It doesn't help that their previous match had a stipulation. I believe it was like no holds barred. Like they were throwing weapons at each other.
Yeah.
But this was just a standard
and then
match.
It's back to a normal match.
Yeah.
Which is a weird downgrade.
It wasn't sequential. Like Hikaru Shida had other
Yeah.
defenses in between.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't immediate.
It wasn't like they intentionally made it de-escalated.
It didn't happen a week ago.
It didn't, it didn't connect for me as much. It was fine.
It was alright.
The more important thing I think is Vicky Guerrero getting involved this time. That was interesting to see. And then when Nyla Rose fails to seal the deal, Vicky Guerrero ends up slapping.
Oh yeah, man! Goes off on her, slaps her. Nyla looks like all downtrodden, and it's there's definitely something going on there, obviously.
Yeah. So we'll see how that turns.
I'm just ready to see someone else get this women's belt. I think.
Yeah, you need to bring in some more. Even if they have to bring in some more people, they need to do it.
Yeah.
I like Shida, but I want fresher matchups. She's running out of matchups, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Next we have the Young Bucks versus FTR for the World Tag Team title.
Lord.
And
what a match.
Yeah, I was legitimately worried about this match. I don't think the build was nearly as effective as it could have been.
Yeah. I agree with that.
When you have a match that's been built up for years,
you've been wanting this match forever. Yeah.
And it's not in front of the crowd. Did come out for this match.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not in front of the biggest crowd you could think, and I do feel like they've delayed this match as long as they could before they realized they're not going to get the crowd they want.
Yeah.
But they finally, put up. They're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it took a while. I think that was part of it.
Yeah, it was a slow build, and it at first I was worried, but there was a reason, obviously.
Yeah.
Because the second half of the match was going to be insane. So.
Yeah. And rewatching it, we did rewatch this pay-per-view. Rewatching it, the match plays perfect.
Oh.
A second time.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a slow build. It feels like
play even better maybe knowing where it was going.
Yeah. I do like FTR's custom jackets.
Yeah.
It's like a Grand Slam sort of jacket.
Yeah.
It has the dates and colors based on every time they won a title.
Yeah.
It's when they won a title at NXT, when they won a title in Raw, when they won a title in SmackDown, and when they won a title in AEW.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see them acknowledge that is their legacy. They were a fantastic tag team under WWE's umbrella.
My favorite WWE tag team before that.
Yeah. So the structure of this match is basically a love letter to old school tag team
Holy
wrestling.
crap. So many callbacks.
Yeah. Before even the callbacks, it's just like evocative of it. Because like you have the beginning of the match, like you have your standard tag team, like, oh, they take it, then they take it. But then the bulk of the match was Matt settling his injuries.
Yeah, Matt has this injury that kind of keeps it out of it ish.
Yeah.
Not out of
it
it impedes him.
It ends up being the leg, by the end of it.
Yeah.
It's usually the back is what he's selling, but it was like an ankle area or something. It was building up to showing FTR's control periods, which are amazing control periods. They're so good. I just love Dax Harwood just dashing all across.
Sliding across the ring to stop a pin. Like, oh man.
So good. Just
they are masters.
Yeah. But this was building up to Nick Jackson playing the part of Ricky Morton with the hottest hot tag in the business. It was amazing. It led to a fantastic pop. Also, should mention Tully Blanchard's not at ringside, so this was basically
he had been barred, right?
Yeah,
he escorted him out, and then he had to leave.
Yeah, so match was basically clean as a whistle.
Yeah,
which is what you wanted.
Yeah.
From a match.
That's why they did that stipulation, probably from the beginning, just to make sure you knew it was going to be a match.
Yeah,
that you didn't have to worry about Tully fucking with anything or whatever.
I thought Cash Wheeler was really the MVP of this match. He was so quick.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
He was clearing distance across the ring. He was always breaking up those pins. He was a real good tag interceptor, the perfect kind.
Yeah.
Just to show how this match easily could have gotten messed up, but didn't. Dax Harwood, I think he hits his hand on the ring post.
I think it was the ring post, but he had it,
And it gets cut.
Yeah.
And it gets cut to the
his
point
hand
where
split or something.
It's split.
He had blood all over him.
Out. He rolls out of the ring and he gets a bandage. Yeah. Meanwhile, Cash Wheeler's in there holding court.
Yeah.
Because basically
the medic had to come out and bandage him up and everything.
Yeah, so he's got to hold his own. That was obviously not.
Yeah, that was
planned.
That was a shoot injury.
So they had to improvise. But then Dax Harwood, such a genius in this regard, ends up working into it. Like, I'm sure it actually hurts, but he ends up setting up spots where he has to sell it.
Like, he forgets that he has the injury and he'll punch
he's doing the shots, and then he does the shot and it hurts. Matt ends up doing offense on the hand. He does like a finger snap that Pete Dunne does.
Yeah.
Just great ingenuity, that kind of thing. And of course, the arcing story here is the match style.
Yeah.
It's FTR's old school and Young Bucks flashy, but Young Bucks were able to go old school. Like, they're able to do the old school, but FTR shouldn't go past old school, because when they enter flashy territory, they start messing up. Great stuff with tag team tributing. They do the FTR does the DIY finisher.
Yeah.
They both go on the other side of the ring and meet them in the middle with a knee and a kick. I love that they're calling back to NXT tag teams.
Right.
Obviously, that's part of their legacy.
Yeah.
Young Bucks hit a Shatter Machine, or the Goodnight Express, what they call it in AEW. They hit the 3D.
Yeah.
Nick does a Swanton Bomb like Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
FTR, meanwhile, hits a Heart Attack, like the Heart Foundation, and they hit a Steiner Bulldog. Great stuff there. Just a little segment where they get to pay homage to their favorite tag teams.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Another thing I loved is because Matt's working the injury. I guess it might be a legit injury. He can't do super kicks, so he has to set up super kicks for Nick, which I loved that sequence. Yeah. As we near the end of the match, Matt gets a chair.
Yeah.
Dax starts coaxing it because he knows if he gets hit with that chair, he wins the
match.
match.
Over, and they do not lose the belt.
Yeah. So I thought that was great.
He's screaming, "Hit me!
Yeah, he's
hit me!" It's so great.
That was awesome. So towards the end, it ends up being Cash in the ring with Matt, and Cash is able to get the better hand of him because Matt's got that injury.
He's kind of stumbling around.
Yeah, Cash hits a super kick. He could very easily win the match, but he decides to go outside and flip.
Yeah.
You're not. No flips, just fists.
Why?
He goes for a 450 splash, hits his stomach on the ring. Matt rolls out of the way.
Belly flop.
Matt sort of like limps around on one leg to get set for, the super kick. As good of a super kick as he can get, but he's gonna put all of it on that injured leg. He hits it. Cash goes down. 1, 2, 3. Awesome finish.
So good.
There was going into this match, the stipulation, there was an issue with it. It seemed obvious that Young Bucks were gonna win.
Yeah.
But all in all, I felt like the drama was still there.
Oh yeah.
And I also have no issue with Young Bucks having a title.
No, not at all. No.
FTR will get it again sometime.
Sure. Yeah.
They will have another match. Almost. I don't know if.
I hope they don't do it too soon.
Probably lay off.
I'd like to have to wait for a little bit for it. But
yeah.
We'll see.
They can do story stuff with FTR.
It
feels like they're going to with Arn.
Yeah.
I'm sure something's going to come out.
Yeah, tease it out.
The Elites all celebrate, except for Hangman.
Yeah.
No one even really calls attention to him, not even the commentators, but he's up sulking.
Yeah.
On the in the ring entrance area. All right, up next we have the Elite Deletion match: Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara. This was, there's not a whole lot to say. This was just
cinematic
fun.
match at the compound, bunch of shenanigans. Yeah. It's like an episode of Nitro Circus.
Yeah, it was.
They're shooting firecrackers at each other and stuff.
Yeah, there's. There ends up, it's just like, it ends up being a complete mess. A fun mess. But
it was a blast.
There's like a ring in the middle of the woods.
Talk about, yeah.
There's a ring in the middle of the woods. Private Party comes out to help Matt. Santana Ortiz come out to help Sammy. We got Gangrel coming out to also help
Hurricane.
To help Inner Circle. Hurricane comes out to help Matt Hardy. There was a couple in jokes. I'm not as familiar with the whole storyline with Broken Matt Hardy, so a couple of the jokes were lost on me.
Idea.
But it was mainly just a bunch of goofy fun.
Yeah, and then it got real super grim and dark right at the end.
Yeah, they end
super
up
bloody and
they end up locking themselves in a garage, and Matt Hardy just destroys Sammy with a chair.
Oh man,
and wins. It was quite jarring, but it was still fun. Maybe a little too long.
Yeah,
it was chopped off like 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was a good time. It was well done, and because it was presumably pre-filmed, we didn't have to worry about Matt Hardy dying.
Nobody died.
Yeah.
They had already been on TV after they had filmed it, so everybody was happy to know going into it nobody was going to die at least for this night.
We have MJF versus Chris Jericho for the right for MJF to join the Inner Circle.
Yeah.
Chris Jericho has his off days. This was. He was kind of off on this.
Yeah.
MJF was doing solid work, but sometimes Chris Jericho is just not in peak form.
He seemed like he was out of breath the whole time. I don't know if quarantine's been getting to him or what.
This wasn't as bad.
It wasn't a bad
as
match.
the second Orange Cassidy Chris Jericho match where he was completely gassed.
Yeah, that was rough.
But this was mainly just storytelling.
Okay. It was all about the end.
Yeah, it was all about the ending, which was great. The finish of this match was Chris Jericho going for Floyd. I think it was he had a bat, right?
Yeah. Hager tossed him the bat.
And MJF standing there. Chris Jericho's about to hit him while Aubrey's distracted.
Yeah.
MJF does the Eddie Guerrero.
Yep.
He feigns getting hit.
I got knocked out and falls back.
Enough to be distracted. Enough for Aubrey to be like, "Did you hit him?" Obviously, she can't call it DQ, but she's got to argue with him about the bat, and that gives MJF time to roll him up.
Yep.
You see on the replay, he gets the tights.
Yeah.
MJF is in the Inner Circle, which I think will lead to...
And Wardlow,
which I think will lead to so many interesting stories, especially as we find out on Dynamite.
That is just going to all fall apart. It's going to be glorious to watch.
Yeah, I'm so down for that. All right, we move on to the main event. John Moxley versus Eddie Kingston, an I Quit match for the AEW title.
The best build, I think, of any match any main event that they've had in any pay-per-view. For me, I was so excited. The promos were incredible going into this thing.
Oh yeah, the promo offs have been great. Two people that can talk anybody into a building.
Yeah.
Just at their all-time peak. Eddie Kingston just does not turn it off.
Oh my god, I really could watch him all day long. I really could.
That's got to be the biggest ascent ever, going from unemployed to headliner of a pay-per-view.
To where they almost a couple times had me convinced it might happen.
That's the best.
I never really thought he was gonna win, and no one really did. But
they set it up to where you believe it because they set up other feuds.
Right.
They set up. Lance Archer has beef with Eddie Kingston because of the Casino Battle Royale, where they kind of both were. They both have grievances of who won that.
Yeah, of how they were eliminated or not.
Pac has grievances because Eddie Kingston stole Death Triangle from him, stole Penta and Phoenix from him.
Yeah, well, he was trapped overseas.
Yeah, well, he was stuck for 8 months in England. So they set it up. If Eddie Kingston wins this title, he has feuds.
Right.
So I almost believed it.
Yeah. I really wanted it to happen. And Mox is, obviously one of my favorites, but I really wanted Eddie to win this. But I feel like Eddie's probably not winning it until he's a babyface, maybe.
Yeah, because he does not come out of this looking like a babyface.
No, that's not happening for a while, I don't think.
Yeah. Another thing, just to go towards Eddie never turning it off, when they're doing the ring announcements and they call Eddie Kingston's name, he doesn't look at the camera. He's pacing back and forth, back toward the camera, screaming expletives. I can hear him yelling expletives at Mox. It's great stuff. Instant brawl when it starts. I love Eddie Kingston's chops.
Oh, man. These guys were killing each other.
Yeah, unbelievably stiff match. It wasn't an over the top violent match like Kenny Moxley.
I thought it would be a lot more bloody.
Yeah.
Than it ended up being.
It really wasn't. Yeah, it really wasn't that bloody.
No. I think Mox gigged once, and then there was blood from tacks on the back.
Yeah, tacks.
Eddie,
a little bit of barbed wire.
Eddie was bleeding from the mouth at one point, but it wasn't much.
They're throwing chairs at each other. Always protected though. They always put their hands up.
So smart.
These weren't like too dangerous. Also, another thing.
Take the chair flat and throw it straight.
Kingston would always put a palm on the back to throw it straight.
You pointed that out. I was like, "Yep, that's how you make sure that you don't get the wrong part of the chair."
You don't Sami Guvarra
and end up with a Matt
Hardy sort of thing. Yeah. Moxley breaks out the bar bat early. This ends up playing directly into the finish because not later. Moxley's really laying in. He really hits him with that bat. It's no Triple H sledgehammer thing.
No. Takes her right like the throat almost.
Yeah. I almost wondered because Eddie Kingston starts coughing.
He was coughing. I was like, That could have hurt a little bit. I mean, I'm sure it hurt a little bit. He took it right at his windpipe almost.
Yeah. The barbed wire eventually comes off of the bat, and that basically becomes the setup.
Yeah.
Kingston's wrapping around his hand, hitting him with shots. Does a spinning barbed wire back fist to Mox. That was great. Mox not playing it easy either. When Kingston gets him in a Kimura lock, Mox is biting his leg to get out of it. The tacks come out.
Yeah, Eddie grabs him from underneath.
They're in a little bit of a corner. There's a big fight to get the person in the tacks.
A couple suplexes. Yeah.
The tacks really damage Moxley. They even end up in his hair at one point. Like they're just all over him.
Yeah.
And he ends up wrestling a lot of this match with those tacks.
The tacks were still in it at the end of the match. A couple, I think.
Yeah. Sort of unusual for an I Quit match. There weren't a whole lot of moments where they're trying to coax each other to say I quit. They're kind of just pummeling each other and
waiting for the moment where it happened.
Yeah. They're not really goading it out of it.
Yeah.
It's sort of
the ref wasn't even asking a lot or
not
anything.
Not really, I don't know if this was shoot, but Kingston runs to Doc Sampson's area and grabs a bottle of rubbing alcohol.
Yeah.
Knowing them, I would believe it to be shoot, but when he pours it on, it could be water, but who knows? But
it would not surprise me if he's like, "Jump alcohol on my back, dude. I want to feel it."
Towards the end, Kingston almost goes back for the barbed wire.
He even picks it up.
Yeah, he picks it up, but he throws it down and puts him in a bulldog choke. Puts Mox in a bulldog choke. And this comes back in the finish.
Yep.
Moxley gets out of it. He gets the Gotch pile driver. And he does his own bulldog choke to set up for the paradigm shift. It's still not enough. Eddie Kingston's still getting up. So Mox finds the barbed wire, wraps it around his hand, puts on the bulldog choke, a barbed wire bulldog choke.
Yeah.
Digging into Eddie's neck. Couldn't have felt good. Shoot.
Yeah.
And this is when Eddie says I quit. Meekly,
very quietly, says it like twice.
I quit. Yeah, just trying to preserve his dignity. He doesn't want to be yelling I quit.
Yeah, doesn't want to sound panicked or
a move
afraid.
that Eddie almost did but declined, maybe for purist reasons. That ends up being his exact downfall. And I had spent a lot of the build going in this match wondering how they were going to convince me that Eddie Kingston was going to say I quit.
Either one of them. How are either one of these guys going to say I quit?
But barbed wire to your throat. Yeah, that's I can buy that. This leads to a little bit of a stare down. Moxley and Kenny.
Yeah.
We'll be getting that rematch next month even. It was announced. It wasn't. It didn't end up being announced. It's going to be a TV match.
Yep.
Gotta be the biggest TV match they've ever done.
Ever. December 2nd or something like that. I don't know, early in December. So you get a pay-per-view quality match. Well, pay-per-view. I mean, that's a huge match. That's crazy. They were saying the same thing. Like, this is the biggest match.
Yeah. So that's Full Gear. I think front to back. I mean, there have been better matches, but front to back, maybe the most consistently fantastic pay-per-view they put on.
I think it's their best pay-per-view. I think it's the best pay-per-view of 2020.
Yeah, that's an easy call to make.
Yeah, that is. It's true.
It was.
They are mostly their own competition in that matter.
Yeah. Definitely an improvement over the last pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Which had a little bit of unfortunate circumstances that led to it
Right.
not hitting as hard as it could have.
Yeah.
This is a great bounce back.
Loved it.
Just a quick note on the games thing.
Do something on the games real quick.
They put out a little 20-minute video to announce AEW Games. I assume it is a publishing format. Like they own a publishing offshoot now.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Because they have their own logo and they're talking about multiple games coming out of this.
Yeah.
The main feature was Kenny Omega and his sort of
Steve Jobs
looking outfit.
It's an Apple conference thing.
Yeah, that's what the presentation was
Yeah.
evoking. He announces that they got Ukes, which is responsible for, some of the best wrestling games ever. No Mercy.
Yeah.
SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. Also the SmackDown vs. Raw games, and of course the 2K games.
Yeah.
For anybody who is wary about them because of the 2K games, they didn't do the last one.
Yeah.
They left before the last one, and all of those games were developed in conjunction with 2K. So the games that Ukes developed on their own have always been always been fantastic. So very excited about that. The footage is very early, but it looks like a middle ground between the sim quality of the 2K games and the All Stars.
Not quite Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
Not quite realistic. Somewhere in the middle. Yeah.
They're saying current gen and next gen for next year. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's hard to develop a game entirely in the COVID era, but it'll be interesting. The other things were the
Couple mobile games.
couple more games. There's a GM sort of game. I think that might already be out on iPhone.
December maybe.
Or there people are already playing it, so it must be coming out soon.
Review copies are out there.
Review copies are out. Yeah. That could be interesting. People love the
Yeah.
GM modes.
That's perfect for the format.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's some sort of casino game. I couldn't really figure out.
I didn't
what
understand
that was.
what that was either. Yeah.
Yeah, but all in all, I'm very interested to see what this game ends up
should be
being.
good.
I don't know how much input Kenny Omega has, but he's a fighting game fan. He even says that he wants to help make a game that is easy to pick up but hard to master, which is the best kinds of fighting games. So
Right.
I hope that he has some sort of input on that.
All right, we're gonna do this Dynamite quick.
Yeah. Not really going in depth on the matches.
Yeah.
We're just getting
A lot
an
of
overview
of
what's going on.
new things are starting. So
Yeah. We start with a little bit of Team Taz. Taz talking trash on Darby. Just playing into that more.
yeah, they're good at it.
That's the overarching theme. That's where we don't see an indication of where that's going to go here necessarily. We get an announcement later, but that's that direction. Brian Cage versus Matt Sydal in the opener. This was really fun.
Oh yeah, it's a really good little man versus big man match.
Yeah. I think Matt Sydal
was a lot of fun.
completely erased the stink of the fatal
shooting
star press slip.
At least that wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
At least the ropes were wet or whatever. But yeah, that was a tough debut. But he's more than overcome that.
We have a Cody promo.
Yes.
And the Cody promo gets interrupted by Jade
Cargill,
who was a newcomer. It ends up coming out that she is signed, and she cuts a promo on Cody, kind of dresses him down.
Yeah.
And then comes at him for calling himself a giant killer. And
you don't know nothing about giants.
Yeah, this leads into her announcing that the person that she's talking about that's coming for Cody,
someone who was courageous enough to keep his one-word title.
Yes, she does mention that.
Cody.
She gets at Cody
Rhodes. You should have been man enough to stay Cody.
Yeah, but I like that. But this leads to her reveal that the person that she is representing is Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, who I remember hearing in an interview 2 or 3 months ago. Shaq wants a match with Cody. Did not actually think that was gonna come to fruition, but it looks like that's what's happening.
Yeah.
If he can go, he can go.
Maybe.
He's
big. He's big. He can stand there and be big. I don't know what else he can do.
Yeah.
He's not just big. He's old.
That's classic pro wrestling. I have no problem with a little program.
They can do fun stuff like this.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. It'd be like Thunder Lips, Rocky Balboa match.
Yeah. Well, I'm cool with that. Just a little curiosity.
Yeah.
And then Brandy comes out and one of her best moments.
Probably her best promo ever on TV.
Just completely annihilates.
Oh, she was on fire.
Coming at her for daring to come at her husband
on her show with her man.
Yeah.
Whew. Don't ever talk to him like that again.
Yeah.
She was roasting that girl.
Next, quickly, there's a quick Kenny Omega promo. He's already walking off of Dynamite. He was supposed to be
Yeah, he was a no-show for a prior interview.
Yeah.
With one of the girls. I forget which one. And then, was it?
Alex Marvez
found him in
finds
the parking
him.
lot. Yeah.
He starts talking about the match, and quite cockily, he brings up this is the first time ever match. Because the last Kenny Omega John Moxley match was an unsanctioned match, so there is no recorded evidence that Kenny Omega has lost a match to John Moxley, which was what happened. Yeah,
it never happened.
So we're getting
so good.
We're getting there. He's still not turned yet.
No,
he's being cocky. He's reverting back to his old ways. He's using that V-trigger more often. I think we're gonna get that any moment.
I'm here for it.
I think Kenny's taking the title from Moxley.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think that's.
And when once he does that, he will become full tilt. He'll be
unbearable.
Yeah,
absolutely in the best way.
Especially because he just got inducted in the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame.
They have to say that.
He will never shut up about that.
Yeah.
All right, move on to the bunkhouse match: Butcher and the Blade versus Natural Nightmares. This was basically a tornado tag, no disqualification match.
Yeah, the real one.
Really fun.
It was great.
This is probably my favorite thing on the show.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. I think this is probably the bloodiest thing they've had on Dynamite.
Yeah. Oh God.
There was blood everywhere.
TNT loves AEW.
Yeah, they must.
The fact that they let them do this. Yeah.
I mean, there was
at least two blade jobs.
If you were close to the ring, it had to have smelled like blood.
Oh,
it was so bloody.
Guitar shots, cowbell shots, ladder shots, kendo sticks, brutal haystacks.
Yeah.
Haystacks were thrown. I thought QT was a star in this match.
Oh yeah, man. MVP.
Yeah,
for sure.
QT really getting his revenge on being taken advantage of from the bunny and her tricks.
Yeah.
But I thought this was awesome. Just a lot of fun. I would definitely go back and catch this for sure.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah.
It was great. That crazy elbow drop off the freaking ladder.
Oh yeah. That ladder was tall.
It was so tall. And then he kicked out, burying elbow drops forever, but that's okay.
Next we have the induction of MJF into the Inner Circle. This was
everything you'd expect it to be.
Yeah. MJF has a speech. His speech consists of him just reciting Drake lyrics from All Me, and then eventually
pretending like he doesn't know who Drake is.
Yeah, and then eventually saying "Started from the bottom, now we're here."
Yeah.
Calling out Proud and Powerful for them definitely respecting it, like oh yeah, you guys will appreciate this.
Yeah.
And they're like, come on, Drake, really? and then MJF, his surprise is it's Chris Jericho's birthday, so I'm gonna shower you with balloons. But there was a storm during Dynamite, and it was really windy, so there's an aerial shot, and they show the balloons coming down, and you see them instantly whisk away. They don't even get anywhere close to the ring.
They had the hard cam, never even saw them. Like, they instantly were, blown straight out the open roof.
a perfect sort of act of God there.
Yeah, it ended up being accidentally a great capper to what was happening.
Yeah. There is discontent with Sami and MJF in particular. I do think there will be some sort of coup. I think Sami will be turning face at some point.
Maybe Sami and Chris.
Yeah,
Jericho.
Something's gonna happen. But until then, they're going to Vegas next week, so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
All right, Scorpio Sky versus Shawn Spears. This match has been postponed a lot.
Yeah.
It finally happened. I liked it.
It was fun.
There's not a whole lot of story to it, but it was a good match. I like these guys getting more Dynamite matches.
Yeah.
Scorpio's great. He was great on Dark. He's great in singles competition here. Yeah, I liked it. I'd see more about these guys. I think Shawn Spears gets too much hate.
They have a better match together, I think. If it was a good match, they could have a really good match.
This was, your 90
It was okay. It was a TV match. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah. Taikonji versus Red Velvet. I like this match, but it's more just showing that they're bringing in more women that are capable.
So I'm totally in line with that. Like they don't have to be great, but to show you've got some variety in the roster, some new people. It's been a lot big improvements in the women's division.
Yeah, I think Red Velvet is already pretty good. I think Taikonji's got a lot of promise if she develops.
Yeah.
So
A little green, but she'll get there.
Like, they're both new, but I think they're putting stuff together.
Totally fine match.
There's some good stuff in it. Yeah. All right, we have Eddie Kingston coming out for the main event, which is Rey Fenix versus Penta, Sarah M. Their rematch, their second match. These guys I could watch these guys just go after each other.
Yeah, it's not possible for them to have a bad match together. It wouldn't be. They'd have to try it, and even then they wouldn't be able to succeed, I'm sure.
So the gist of this is Eddie Kingston coming out on commentary and establishing for the viewers at home that Eddie Kingston is not a babyface.
Yeah.
He's very much a heel, and he has sowed some sort of discontent between the two brothers, and that plays out in the match where by the end of it, both their masks have been nearly torn off by each other.
Yeah, I mean, he just starts just picking a little bit in the beginning, and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and the masks are torn half off almost. Yeah. I mean, like...
So, I think we've maybe seen the end of the Lucha Brothers as a tag team for a little bit.
Yeah.
This match, Penta takes, and it was not as, like, virtuosic of a sort of match as the first one. This was more emotional and violent and not necessarily...
Yeah, I'll say a little bit more just, like, brutal and destructive.
Yeah. But still a hell of a match.
Yeah, incredible.
Definitely go out of your way to watch this.
Yeah, Rafe's kind of laying on the ground after the match, and Eddie comes in the middle of the ring, and he literally rolls him, kicks him with his foot, and rolls him out of the ring.
Yeah. It's very clear that he's completely all for Penta.
Penta is my best friend, and that's your brother, and you don't need that dead weight.
That honestly shocked me when he did that. That was I almost thought wow, that was
maybe coming in 3 weeks, not after this match.
He just completely kicks him out of the ring.
Yeah, dismisses him entirely.
Yeah, but then Pac comes out.
Yes,
Pac is returned.
Yes,
Pac is returned for his boys. He comes back.
He is amped up.
He's come back. He's amped up. He comes back and you've taken my boys.
Yeah,
you've massacred them.
Yeah.
They're ruined. So Pac just rushes the ring. All the refs have to come out to stop him from attacking Eddie. Obviously, it makes complete sense that he has issues with Eddie Kingston just running in and just taking over his stable and adding more people.
Yeah.
So next week, Pac will face the Blade.
Yes.
Because the Blade is part of Eddie's stable, and Pac has no connection to him.
You got to start somewhere.
Yeah, so excited for Pac to be back.
Yes.
Barely been here in 2020 at all.
Yeah.
So I just love to see him back. Very very interested to see where the Pac Eddie Kingston program goes.
Yeah, AEW's hot right now, man.
Yeah.
This is exciting. It's fun to watch. And it's nice to have something to look forward to every week.
Yeah,
in the world of wrestling.
Yeah, a consistently great weekly wrestling show.
Absolutely.
So up next, we're gonna do
AEW adjacent.
Yeah, AEW adjacent. We're gonna cover that Cage Fighter movie that John Moxley stars in.
Is the director the guy that did his promos?
I'm not sure. I think he's involved in it. I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll discuss it.
We'll learn more about it. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go all in on that.
So that'll be our next episode. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.
All right, see you.
Thanks. Bye.